Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm sharing a webinar session I've delivered multiple times at different universities or even webinars or talks. So it's all about navigating career pathways in biomedical science, the challenges, opportunities, and what I have learned in my own journey. So whether you've missed the live sessions or the webinars or you're just curious about building your career, I hope this video will give you something valuable. So let's go. Hi everyone, welcome to this session. I'm really excited about it. Today we're going to be talking about navigating academic pathways, opportunities, and challenges for early career scientists or aspiring scientists, or also anybody who's about to start their career. If you're new to this channel, my name is Aida Noor. I'm a biomedical scientist, founder, CEO, and author. Tell you a bit about myself. I'm a scientist with a vision. I'm a UK biomedical scientist, turned self-published author. I did my university education in UK, so I've got a bachelor's in biochemistry, which I didn't really enjoy. I would say that openly, even when I went back to university to talk and present some work. And also, I have master's in biomedical science. I specialize in medical microbiology. After qualifying as a biomedical scientist, I also hold a postgraduate degree in healthcare management. I'm a founder and CEO of two digital platforms through LinkedIn, recently Creating Your Dream Career and Biomedical Science and Beyond. And they are both digital platforms that focus on career guidance and insights. My experience is a professional experience is all in the UK. I started my career after completing my master's in biomedical science. I started as a research scientist in a drug discovery company. I didn't really enjoy it. I always had passion for the medical side. So my experience now, I can say, is in UK diagnostic laboratory, both private and the NHS. And I specialize in infection sciences slash microbiology. My professional journey of becoming a scientist or biomedical scientist, self-publishing author, my writings and content creating, all of that gave me a fresh perspective on the future of work. In one line, my dream or my mission is to make a difference through my profession and my passion, which will be clear as we progress through this session. And if you're a follower, you might have had an idea on what my mission is about. So my profession as a biomedical scientist, my passion through my writings and sharing my thoughts and creating content. And I'm also passionate about the future of careers, education, and work. And that stemmed from my belief that power of lifelong learning and self-discovery both will help you to create a fulfilling and a successful career. Also, I believe once you become a professional, regardless to what profession you belong to, there's always room to develop, reskill, and upskill. So, in a nutshell, that's me, scientist with a vision. Normally, these first few slides, I use them in any talk, regardless to the audience. And this is also an opportunity for me to tell you who are the biomedical scientists and what do they do. So, what do biomedical scientists do? Or also, like we acronym everything in the UK, BMSs. We conduct and investigate a range of laboratory and scientific tests, and that will support disease diagnosis, treatments, and management or monitoring of a wide range of diseases. And our work as a biomedical scientist is extremely important in hospital departments such as operating theaters, A&E, or emergency department. Um, it's very important because this is how we carry, our work is crucial. Also, our work is very important on while we're working on medical conditions such as cancer, diabetes, AIDS, any diseases of medical importance. As they say, a picture speaks thousands of words. And also, I use this when I'm talking to non-scientists or anybody who's new. So, BMS role or biomedical sciences role is crucial in disease diagnosis. Think of disease diagnosis as an ecosystem. When you go to the doctors or the patient goes to the doctors, they complain of symptoms. The doctors, depending on what your symptoms are, they will request for specimens, not necessarily blood, any type of specimen or sample. And alongside with the tests, they'll be sent to the laboratory, and the laboratory will be able to do the work, testing, and that will be reported back to the doctors, and the doctors will be able to prescribe the right medication, or also it will help in the management of disease diagnosis. So if you think about disease diagnosis, both are important, not just the doctors on their own or biomedical science on their own. So the doctors can only complete the disease diagnosis if the biomedical scientists are involved to help in identifying what's causing the infection. So if you aspire to become a biomedical scientist, particularly in the UK, you will need two things: a bachelor's degree that needs to be accredited by the Institute of Biomedical Scientists, or IBMS, or if you're an international student or an applicant, it needs to be approved by the HCPC, the Health Care Professionals Council. By the way, if you're new to this channel, I've spoken about this in details, and also there's more to come. So that's why I'm not writing it in full, because this session is including a lot of things. So I'm trying to cover as much as possible in a very punchy, brief way. But I've got separate videos where I spoke about almost most of the points that I've raised here, but it still continues because there's more. And also this talk is more like an up-to-date to my first session or webinar that I have got on the in my in one of the videos in my channel. So also, in addition to the degree, you need to complete an IBMS registration training portfolio. So these two things are most important. I'm sure most of you heard of it if you're into biomedical science. The IBMS portfolio based qualification is designed to demonstrate or tell the HCPC that you meet the standards of proficiency. So I'm putting it in a very simple words, but it's a very huge topic. So that's why it's not very simple, and I can tell you all about it because I've been through it myself. So I just want you to think of it in a nutshell. Again, back to the point, IBMS and HCPC, both of them work together. So again, you need your IBMS accredited degree or an approved HCPC degree to achieve the necessary certification. If your degree is not accredited, which I have gone through it myself, then you need to contact the IBMS directly to request for your degree to be assessed. Once that is completed, you might need to do top-up modules. I've done that as well. Or you're good to go. You just go straight into the portfolio. If your degree is not accredited, you do both top-up module and the IBMS together. And once you're done with that, congratulations, you'll be awarded an IBMS certificate of competence, and then you're good to proceed to apply to be on the register, on the HCPC register, because you can't practice as a biomedical scientist without being it's a legal title, so it's illegal to practice or say that you're a biomedical scientist if you're not on the register. It's an offense, basically. If you put my name, you will find me on the register. So in a nutshell, this is what you need to practice as a biomedical scientist. It's a very long-winded if you're not, if your degree wasn't accredited and you had the placement and all of that. I can't believe how simply I'm explaining this. It's a huge topic. And, a lot of you, maybe some of you who are going on their journey, you wouldn't believe that it's just 2 slides. No, it's bigger than that. But again, I've spoken about that. I will be including the links in this video, and there'll be more to come as well, particularly for applying through the HCPC, especially international applicants, because I've got loads of people querying about it, and I know how overwhelming it can be because it's a lot of information. Even for me, when I go through it, I'm confused. I'm in process of preparing it. So stay tuned, guys. We'll get there eventually. This slide. If any of you are interested to become qualified biomedical scientist, particularly in the NHS, the ideal role will be the trainee biomedical scientist, which is extremely competitive. Sometimes it's impossible to get that role. So these are the two other roles that you can apply for, supporting positions, especially if you're still doing your portfolio or your top-up modules, etc. In the NHS, they will have banding. So band 3 and band 4, associate practitioner. There are other titles as well, maybe biomedical science support worker or health science support worker. I had that role when I was doing my portfolio to qualify as a biomedical scientist. So this is just a simple slide just for you if you're in the process or considering, and I've got videos where I spoke about the interview questions and comparing between biomedical scientists, MLAs, etc. So there's a lot of information out there, and there's more to come, especially again, as I said, it's a huge topic. So just bear that in mind if you are applying for a position and you're trying to look for a way to get into it. These are the other roles that you can consider. How can you apply? That we will talk about that in a minute, but you apply and be honest with the manager, and these roles, they will help you because they'll be able to do the training for you while you do, for example, your top-up modules, etc. So just bear that in mind. I don't want to bombard you with a lot of information, but I've captured this in separate videos. If you're not interested to work in a lab and you want to consider other options, there are options. There's actually two options. You can either apply for jobs that related directly to your degree. Uh, if you don't want to work as a biomedical scientist, you can consider biotechnologist, clinical research associate, clinical scientist, whether in biochemistry, hematology, immunology, and the list goes on. There's more. You can either work in forensic science, microbiologist. I worked as research scientist, microbiologist. I didn't need to do the portfolio, and other roles that you can apply to with your degree. Also, there are jobs that your degree would be useful, such as these are all the positions that you can get into. I like the sales because if you apply for a company, to a company, sales is a very, very good way to get into a company, and then you can progress from there. I knew people who became head of departments just because they started in a sales role. So don't underestimate sales, especially at this time, day and age where companies, there's so many companies. So don't underestimate, don't restrict. Also, there are other positions that you can apply for, and they're all there. Even more positions that you can consider. You might consider writing with all the content that's out there. Communication is an essential skill, or if you want to get into teaching, or whether as a teacher, science teacher, or if you just want to be a laboratory technician. But also, I want you to remember, employers are open to accept applications from graduates with any degree subject. So don't have a limited mind when you apply to positions. I don't like doing it myself. So, but to get a job, you have to apply. So very important. The most important aspect in not just in biomedical science career, in any career, is work experience. Don't focus on your academic work only. Don't do my mistake. I did that. So because remember, the not just in healthcare, the work is very, very the job market is extremely competitive. Not just competitive, it's extremely competitive. So consider placement. If there is a placement or sandwich here or anywhere where you can get experience, or even during your holiday, do that, because it will give you the practical skills that will help you to get started, to start your career. So don't underestimate work experience. And I know that it's difficult. But also there's another advantage, you building connections, which we're going to touch up on that. So placements, internships, any work experience, it's extremely important. And there are many ways. I'm using this slide because it's from my general talks. So UK experience, you can even volunteer. We all had to volunteer. I had to volunteer in my time as well. It's it's part of it now, unfortunately. You could internships, work placement, or any part-time roles, bank staff, locum work. These are the ones I use because you can work with agencies. I spoke about this in my videos, the difference between bank and locum, but also I'll touch upon that to break it down further for you guys. Um, networking, being online, which we're going to touch up on that in few seconds, it's extremely important. But again, let me go back to the locum and bank. Locum is basically you register with an agency as an MLA or biomedical scientist, and they onboard you to get a job, vacancies. I'm a locum, which is slash self-employed slash freelancer. Bank is similar, but you get employed directly with the hospital. So you're basically on demand, but you don't go through an agency, you go through the recruitment of the trust or the hospital. So that's the difference between them. I've already touched upon that. Um, and as my journey as well. So have a look at those videos, but also I will explain it further because I'm still getting questions about that. And networking. Networking is extremely important, which we're going to talk about. Okay, you're asking me, I apply for opportunities. I'm really struggling. The standard way is to register with the career portals, create a professional profile, put your skills, experiences, and apply for a job when it's advertised. That's the standard way. I hate doing it myself. However, you have to take the initiative and apply directly, even when there's no jobs advertised. And that is called chin. Same as when you go and sell something, you pitch. So the same thing, you do that. You research the organization or the department that you want to work for. You personalize your email. You have a punchy or strong subject line. You attach your CV or resume and covering letter. Obviously, sometimes they might not answer because they're busy, or maybe your email got lost in the junk mail. So you follow up politely, and that way you show that you're interested. Again, to reiterate this, you research the organization. That way, you show you're genuinely interested and have taken the time to understand the work. Personalize your email. Find out who's the recruiting head of department. Have a compelling subject line. I'm using it, for example, aspiring biomedical scientists seeking internship opportunities. Attach your CV, your covering letter, and make sure that it's tailored for that role. Don't just send, I'm sure you've heard it, but I'm repeating the same thing. Don't just send a standard by default. No, personalize it. And if you don't get a response, follow up with a polite reminder email. I I am in favor of cold calling. I've done it myself, and that's how I kick-started my journey in biomedical science. I called 9 hospitals, and the number 10 and 11 said yes, and took it from there. So don't just do emails. The personal touch is still effective, by the way. I always get this question, like I mentioned earlier. I've worked in both private and the NHS. I actually started in the private as an MLA and then NHS. And then also when I qualified as a biomedical scientist, I started as a BMS in the private and in NHS. And I've spoken about my experience because I always get this question. And this is a summary from my own experience. And I also in my video I spoke about my preference and how basically what do I think about it. So um learning and development flexibility. I don't have an answer saying which is better because it really depends on you and your goals. Maybe you've seen some of my videos on my social media. Um, for me, my preference is private because I'm a fast learner and I get bored easily. But then you really have to be strong-minded, adaptable, flexible. Really, you have to have like an entrepreneurial personality. The NHS is still good. but it's structured and it can be slower, and there is a bit of less flexibility. The technology advancement there is much better, higher, because they have the money, is money driven. It's the private. So there is perks. There's pros and cons for both. I'm very grateful that I had both because that's what shaped me. But in terms of opportunities, don't limit yourself. Get started wherever there's an opportunity for you, take it and take it from there. I spoke about that in my videos, and I've touched on it. It's not all of it because I've worked for some time. Having a career is different than just a job. You want to have a career and you want to be successful in it. So you really need to appreciate your transferable skills. Some of the skills, such as research, teamwork, attention to details, which you have as a biomedical scientist. Personal branding is not just restricted to having a product and selling it. No, it's how it makes you stand out, including your LinkedIn profile, which is like your digital CV. Networking, building connections, not just in biomedical field. I'm talking about it in a general aspect. So that's very important to bear in mind. Networking, and these three things I talk about them extensively because from my own personal experience as a self-employed um, and creating content author, all of that, I've taken these three into as a way of life. And I'm telling you, it opens doors. I'm not going to lie. So you might be thinking, how does LinkedIn's transferable skills, network, and all of this work together? In a nutshell, networking will open doors that you never knew they existed. LinkedIn, it will showcase not just your skills, not just professional, but also your personal. Transferable skills will enhance all of that. So once you identify what transferable skills, it's a whole package. I'm telling you, if these three, they will make you shine. And I always like to use this because it's from my experience. Anything that I share here is from my own personal experience. The skills that you develop as a scientist with the knowledge, practical skills, manual agility, adaptability, strong analytical skills, ability to interpret and present data meaningfully, excellent communication skills, and being teamwork skills. You can work independently, patience, accuracy, efficiency in your work, and you're able to prioritize your work and do it fantastically. Responsibility and common sense, flexibility and adaptability, able to work under pressure while you're maintaining high standards, attention to details, and IT skills. All of these skills, I'm telling you, oh my God, they will make you shine. So yeah, I'm very biased, and I do apologize when I present to non-scientists, but this is something I'm very proud of because it gave me an advantage over non-scientists. Like I said, this is LinkedIn. That's my current LinkedIn, and I've worked on it for so long. To be honest, I made a mistake by not creating LinkedIn soon enough. I only created it once I got qualified as a biomedical scientist because I thought I wasn't good enough. But don't do my mistake. Start building. So once I started focusing since 2022, no, actually before that, because what I did is I created a newsletter, Scientist with a Vision, and I was just sharing everything because this is how it started for me. I used to share content on social media. So once I invested and did my work on LinkedIn and just use it as your everything basically for me the whole my career has taken another level, honestly, especially when I focused after yeah, I've spoken about it in one of my videos, so I don't want to bore you with a lot of information, but so far I didn't expect that much of following on my LinkedIn or even my newsletter. My newsletter is basically me talking about anything that I feel like talking about. My videos, I change the I whatever I share on my social media videos, I turn it into articles. So I didn't expect it to grow this much. So doctor, if you ask me for what tips do you want, what's the tips for breaking into biomedical science, I would say make sure you gain work experience through any way that you can get, continuous learning, staying up to date with the new technology, since technology is disrupting every industry, including healthcare, building network, not just in your organization, but outside your organization. Also, if you want to be fantastic. Don't just limit to healthcare like I do. I go every industry. It gives you an over, I don't know how to say it, but I'll talk about it in details later on. Personal branding, online presence, explore opportunities beyond, such as locoming, bank staffing. These are my advice on how you can break into biomedical science. And I personally think that can be done in any career because if you think about it, in the experience state, it's applicable. So that is applicable to any career. This is the one I always like to talk about, the myth. We think that technology it's a threat. It's not. It's an opportunity. We are working alongside technology and AI. It's augmentation, not replacement. So always think of that because it's going to help us. It's not going to replace us. And the advantage of that, it will create new roles, new skills. So just think of it that way. For example, currently we've got AI, ethics in healthcare, data analysis, bioinformatics, etc. So there's loads of opportunities that are happening now. So it is a myth. Og- Technology is not going to take away our jobs. But also, I want you to appreciate the landscape is evolving. Technology advancement from robotics to AI is transforming healthcare. AI and automation, tools for precision, efficiency, enhanced patient care, big data analytics, personalizing treatment. So that's the current situation. So it's dominated by technology. So, how would opportunities be created by technology? Diagnostic and treatment will be enhanced. Precision medicine treatments will be tailored to individuals using genetic information. Remote monitoring. We don't need to go to the doctors. It's got telemedicine, wearable techs. Healthcare delivery is going to be efficient, automating administrative tasks. So there'll be less paperwork, less human error, decision support system. Doctors will have more help. And I tell you from my own personal experience, when I first started my career, I was working with technology. So that's how it is. I befriended technology. So technology is actually going to make life better. But also, I want you to appreciate skills that AI cannot replace, such as leadership, creativity, critical thinking, flexibility, and adaptability, decision making, intuition. If you notice, a lot of these skills we have as a biomedical scientist. Even if you're not a biomedical scientist, creativity, leadership, critical thinking, empathy, flexibility, and adaptability, interpersonal communication, all these skills cannot AI cannot replace. So I don't like it when people say AI is a threat. I use AI in everything, including preparing my content. So I like to use this slide because it's almost we are in 2025. But what I want you to appreciate the shelf life of skills. Skills, you will need to update your skills regularly. So upskilling, reskilling is going to be more frequent than ever. And this was an example of COVID. It caused double disruption, job losses, competitiveness now in terms of looking for jobs, all of that. So what I wanted to take away from this slide is skills. You need to keep up to date with your skills or gain new skills. Okay, no panic. How would you prepare and thrive? Develop a growth mindset, embrace lifelong learning. And because of technology, disciplines will cross. You know what? I thought about that a while ago. I thought maybe this will happen, and it's true. Even though I'm referring to biomedical science, but that applies to any profession. Make sure that you adapt to change, be open to new roles, new technology, and focus on your soft transferable skills because that's communication, ethical decision making, all of this. So this slide, take it away, no panic. This is how you, and to be honest, this is what I am doing myself. I'm still learning. Transferable skills are the key. So just take that away with you and you'll be fine. So don't think that, oh my God, it's all doom and gloom. It's not. Talking about transferable skills, I used my communication skills. I never thought I'll become author, I would say. So I didn't realize I'm going to be publishing 2 books. So this, because of my journey in biomedical science and my struggle, I didn't want anyone to go through what I went through. So I used to share my thoughts on social media. I used to journal, and I started on Instagram. And before I knew it, people were reading my writings and they said, "Why don't you publish a book?" And I had a chat with a friend of mine who said, "Why don't you just self publish, go on Amazon?" Which I did. So I came up with my first book, and that's actually my handle on Instagram, Ida Noor Thoughts. I was writing, basically, I was sharing what they don't tell you about careers. So my journey to become qualified biomedical scientist, I've documented all of that. What they don't tell you, such as communication skills, the importance of negotiation, and I spoke about this in my other videos, and the link will be in the video in the description. So, and I share my personal stories about how I overcome the struggles and turn them into opportunity. And towards the end of the book, you will, there's a story that will give you hope. It was a disaster, but it turned into an opportunity. So, and that was also my name. I think I write, I speak. So that's how my first book, and it's available at Amazon, both in paper and in Kindle. It's very simple book. It's not very long. My other videos. So once I got qualified, I realized there's a difference between um, a job and a career, and that was triggered by COVID. So it made me realize, no, this the a career is more than a job. It's a whole package. So it made me realize that it goes beyond job applications and networking, LinkedIn, all of this. I've spoken about that, how I started my journey with that. And that started after, just before I resigned from full-time job and I've embarked self-employment. Um, COVID was the trigger, as simple as that. And I focus on how you can start on networking, how you can start personal branding, and the important skills on future of work. Again, it's a very simple book, and I share my journey when I made the decision that, yeah, you do create your dream career. And fast forward now, I've got the two platforms that I have created on LinkedIn. So it's worth reading. It will give you an idea on what it's all about. And again, it's another simple book. And I spoke about it in my videos, and I'll have the link in the description. I feel personal about it. I can't even believe that I ended up creating two books. So the next level, I decided to take it on YouTube. I started sharing about everything basically, and I've got some amazing guests that I have interviewed. I've got more coming up. Um, Not just in biomedical science, it's biomedical science and beyond. And that's my YouTube channel at the moment. So hopefully you watch this video there. I just share everything, including my self-employment, how it is at the moment. I'm in a career break in Dubai. So it's just, I don't know how to describe it, but there's more to it than a career. Again, what happened is, like I said, I've utilized or leveraged my communication skills, and I was sharing content all over. I was selected by this company, Select Science, and they saw that I basically I was sharing everything, including hooks, my YouTube videos, clips of my YouTube, my LinkedIn, and they've asked me to basically. I believed that we need change in biomedical science. We need better communication, and I was selected as a ambassador for this initiative, basically shedding the light about the role of biomedical scientists, and basically the lab. And I was really proud because if you've noticed, all the ambassadors are not scientists only. Basically, I was the only biomedical scientist. The whole reason I took the lead in this, I wanted to explore my role as a biomedical scientist, not just in the lab, not just in healthcare, but in society, beyond the walls of the lab. So that was my whole aim. So that's where the initiative came. And that's why, I don't know, they put me as inspiring change in biomedical science. And that led to my belief in that we need change. How is by communicating better. So that was the first collaboration. And I was really proud because this initiative is exactly what we need. And Sonia, who is the managing director, editing director, it happens to be that she was a biomedical scientist herself before she turned into editing. So I was really pleased because she really encouraged me on our first meeting. So being part of this initiative, I was really proud because if you can see, I'm the youngest. It's my channel, I can say whatever. So yeah, I was really happy. And then second collaboration was talking about how do I manage being a biomedical scientist and creating content at the same time. It's hard work, but definitely I've just shared an article on my LinkedIn on this initiative. I'll be talking about this in detail. There's more to come. Yeah, you can make a change. You can create your own path, and that will aim to by the way, guys, I don't have one research paper and I don't have a leadership role in my CV. I just took the lead the way I wanted to see it. And then that was another interview I had, Empowering Biomedical Science Through Collaboration and Communication. Definitely watch this video because I spoke about importance of how we should be communicating. I'll talk about that. What I'm trying to achieve to show you is you don't have to follow a certain path just because somebody created it for you. I believe I'm a scientist with a vision, and a recent collaboration beyond the bench, and that was what I wanted to achieve: a career fueled by passion, purpose, and possibility. I did feel vulnerable at the beginning because I was talking about how self-employment was, and my passion is our um, our role should be seen. I don't like the slogan saying that we are the unsung hero. No, we are seen, we are valued, we are essential. That was the latest collaboration, and I'm glad that my voice has been heard. And what I want you to take away from this that you can be heard. Um, don't just because somebody didn't do it that you can't do it. So this was the initiative from last month about Lab Week, and if you, I just well, I'm trying to put it in words, but hopefully, if you're following me, you will know what I'm talking about because it's very difficult for me to put it in one sentence or two. I'll be talking about it more. And I had the opportunity to present and speak in events that I never thought of. This was about project management, and I spoke about project management in healthcare from my own perspective and my own observations. And I'm not even a project manager. So, and that was in Dubai. And then I had another collaboration to speak to students about the future of work or the future, the importance of digital presence and transferable skills. I was just openly talking about it, and I managed to speak. This was my favorite. I went back to university, Kingston University, and I spoke about my journey. I never thought I'll be speaking about that. This is just something I believed and pursued. And it's in my videos, by the way. Everything I've done, I've put it in a video so you can watch and understand what happened and how and why and all the questions. Again, when I was sharing more content last year, DMU University, one of the top 25 universities in the UK, which I never knew existed, um, they invited me to speak, and I've never been prouder. The stage I'm at, unless you have a futuristic vision, we'll be walking the same path. But if you're not, then we're not, because I have a vision and I believe in it and I follow it. So I spoke about this experience. And if you want to have a laugh, watch the video because you will have a laugh. I almost had a disaster that day. Again, I spoke to another high school students in a future School of Humanity about the importance of present and transferable skills. And that was an update a year later. So what I'm trying to say is don't stop just if you have a vision, like I invested, I took advantage of my communication skills and my love for creating content. You should do as well. Find what transferable skills that nobody can compete with you and use that. So, is it worth having a career in biomedical science? I would say yes, but you need to consider these three things. You need to have a balanced perspective. Like I said, there's a difference between career and a job. A career should be matching with your lifestyle. And that's what I'm doing as well. My life is not perfect, by the way, but I'm sharing what I'm going through with complete transparency. Um, Also embracing change and continuous learning. So the journey continues. Final thoughts. What I want you to take away from this Embrace opportunities. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Look at me. If I waited for the perfect moment and I waited for validation, I wouldn't cause the disruption. I'm not even scratching the surface, but I want to inspire you guys and I'm telling you what's going on. So, we're here to inspire each other. Continuous learning, very important. This will keep you adaptable, up to date, and it will give you balanced perspective, weigh both benefits and challenges of any career. I'm telling you, I can tell you all about it. I haven't even shared enough about all of this. I still have anxiety, but you have to go on. Looking forward, innovate and adapt. Personal growth is important. I had to learn that when I was going through my professional growth, on my first in my first book where I spoke about that, I realized that personal growth is just as important. Normally people will go through personal growth first and then professional growth. With me, it was the other way around. And that's what I spoke about in my first book. So this is something I really like talking about. I always, this is, again, anything I share with you guys here is from what I have learned. To be successful, not just your education alone, not just your experience alone. It's a combination of technical skills, soft skills. What will make you as an addition? What skills you have that will make you an addition that nobody can compete with you? And that's what I really like, this quote by Ravi Kumar. If you want to stay relevant, you have to be on top of all that's new around you and the changes around you. So you have to have an open mind. For example, let me give you an example. When I go on social media, I have an open mind. Even jokes, it keeps me up to date. So don't, confine yourself. No, have an open mind. It will become a habit. You'll become that type of person who looks for opportunities. So I don't want to, put a lot information out there, but that's what I want you to take away from that. And I'm telling you, I'm walking that path myself. Absolutely, just have an open mind. And you might, like, I tell you what, sometimes I do feel anxiety, but I'm at peace because I'm doing what I believe in. And because the rewards are so, so, so much better than when you just walk in a path by default. Um, I used to have a website. I've turned it down 3 times. So eventually I've discovered Linktree where you put all your work there, which is so much better for me. So I just put my YouTube channel, my LinkedIn, my books, if I'm invited to speak, everything. So just a list, people will find you, and I've put it on my LinkedIn rather than having a website, because truly, website, you have to pay for it, you have to fix it. Okay, now you've got AI, but I decided no, I don't want a website because what am I going to put there? Everything is there here. You can even, I just thought I'd share with you guys so you don't always have to have a website. So guys, if you have any questions, let me know. I hope I gave you a bit of an overview on what I stand, because I wanted this talk to be available online so that everybody can access it. If you've attended any of my talks or webinars, I always said that I wanted to put it on YouTube, but it didn't happen, but now it's happened. So drop any questions that you might have and we'll take it further. Yeah,